tell you about what happened to 8-year-old Freddy. He went to school one morning, full of his usual energy, and there was no sign that within a few hours he would be put in a medically induced coma.
Yeah, Freddy had developed sepsis, and his mum Alison says she was told by doctors that if she'd waited any longer to take him to hospital, he may not have survived. Our reporter Jadzia Samuel has been to meet them.
8-year-old Freddy is a happy and playful child, enjoying his summer holidays. But in January, he developed sepsis after contracting strep A. His mother says he went from being his usual lively self to ending up in a coma, all within just a few hours.
I felt like I was sort of losing my child. It was terrifying. I can't explain it. I was filled with all sorts of emotions and just shocked because how quick from sending your child to school, absolutely fine, bouncing off the walls, to being put in a coma.
Sepsis is a reaction to an infection when the immune system starts attacking the body and organs. Some of the main symptoms are very high or low temperatures, cold hands and feet, rashes, and feeling generally unwell. When Freddy was sent home from school, he was shaky and unusually quiet, but he rapidly deteriorated, quickly turning pale and limp with vomiting and diarrhoea. Once in hospital, he was put in a coma for 3 days. What was it like in the hospital? Do you remember?
I'd say a bit over one of mine.
It was very close. I think even for me, obviously as a mum, you don't ever want to think that. But if I know now, if I hadn't have got him to that hospital, or if I would have just left him on the sofa and just, looked after him at home thinking that was a bug, he probably wouldn't have seen the next day.
One of the main awareness campaigners is former South Thanet MP Craig McKinley, who fell ill with sepsis last year. He needed his arms and legs amputated. More than 50,000 people die with sepsis every year in the UK. Experts say catching the signs early is crucial to a positive outcome.
I think people always worry about burdening the NHS, but actually the far greater risk is of not presenting to a healthcare professional, be that to your general practitioner or to hospital. And people shouldn't be afraid about coming back if they feel, they haven't got any better, or certainly if they're getting more unwell.
Freddy has now fully recovered and is enjoying the school holiday with his family. Alison wants to encourage parents to trust their instincts and seek medical help quickly.
Well, that was Jadzia Samuel reporting. We're joined now by Dr. Ron Daniels from the UK Sepsis Trust. Good morning, Ron. Thank you for joining us. That report that we heard from there, it highlights what makes it such a scary thing for people, the fact that things can change so suddenly.
Absolutely. I mean, Freddy's story is frightening, isn't it? And really, he owes his life to Alison's actions. And as she said, it is critically important, and indeed, as Craig said, it's critically important that we don't wait, we don't sit on this. If your instincts are telling you something's badly wrong, then go straight to hospital. It could make the difference between life and death.
And you say there, if you feel that something is wrong, that's the important bit, because sepsis is really hard to, there are a few signs and symptoms. People won't really know what they're looking for, will they? So if you feel that something's not right, get that help. But what should people be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, absolutely. And sepsis isn't easy to spot, even for health professionals. So to get this right demands that our public know when to come to hospital, and also our health professionals, of course, are trained and are thinking about it. There are 6 key symptoms for people to look for. And if anyone has any of these 6 symptoms, then it's go straight to hospital. Don't wait until tomorrow morning, now. They spell the word sepsis. So we have S for slurred speech or confusion, E for extreme pain in the muscles or joints, P for passing no urine, no water in a day, S for severe breathlessness, I for it feels like I'm going to die, and people really do say that, and the final S for skin that's mottled, discoloured or very pale. Again, any one of those 6 with symptoms of an infection, it's go straight to hospital.
Yes, and it is so important to be aware of those signs, but it's shocking, isn't it, that even today, tens of thousands of people die from sepsis every year.
Yeah, absolutely. In the UK alone, it's at least 48,000 lives lost a year. And there are other horrible conditions out there, of course there are, but just for context, breast cancer claims around 11,000 lives a year. So this is really 4 times as deadly as that awful condition.
So why is that number not coming down? What more do you think needs to be done to change that?
Well, we had achieved a lot within the NHS. I'm also an NHS intensive care doctor prior to the pandemic, but of course, during the pandemic and following it, priorities changed, the NHS became challenged. And I think it's absolutely true that we are missing cases of sepsis today. So we want to start seeing mandated reporting of the quality of care around sepsis by hospitals. We want to see diagnostics being brought closer to the clinicians treating the patients. And we routinely want to see people who've had high-risk procedures, as well as people who've survived sepsis, being signposted to the available resources so that they know what to do.
What is the treatment? Assuming it is caught soon enough, we heard there in that example about a medically induced coma. I would assume that's quite an extreme case, but what is the treatment if someone presents with those symptoms?
So everyone who comes in and is recognised as sepsis will have a package of care that we developed at the UK Sepsis Trust called the Sepsis 6. And in essence, this is 6 tasks that any junior health professional can deliver. It involves intravenous fluids, it involves correcting low oxygen levels, giving antibiotics and removing any source of infection that can be removed. Now, some people will begin to stabilise and get better with those interventions alone. Others will need more help, and that's where intensive care, medically induced comas, ventilators, kidney machines, and the like come in. They're all there to stabilise the patient until we can get on top of the sepsis.
Dr. Ron Daniels, good to have you with us. Thank you, Chief Executive there at the UK Sepsis Trust. Grateful for your time. Thank you.